Hello, my beautiful people. I hope you guys are doing great. I know it has not been easy with the recent issue that has plagued the world. Um, I hope that by the end of this, we all will come out from this a better and stronger society and better and stronger individuals. So, in this tutorial, I'll be showing you guys how to create game ready hair or real time hair. So this system works with using hair cards to be able to preview the hair. So I basically have three simple steps to achieve this, and I have one more final trick which if you stay tuned to the end of this tutorial, you will get a very nice tip for actually improving your hair or even customizing it more or and having much control. So without any other thing, let's jump in. So the first step for creating the hair is to create a base reference hair. So this mesh don't have to be perfect. It just have to um, just roughly show the kind of hairstyle which you're trying to create. So this is what I'm trying to create, and I made sure I have all the nice um, all the obvious details which I want to have in this hair. I made it present in this reference mesh, and that's what you want to do. So after you're done with that, you want to move to the next stage, which is just adding a bezier curve. Okay, so you need to, next we need to turn on our snapping tool, the snap tool, and we'll set it to face and probably leave everything as default. Okay, next inside the edit mode of the curve, you want to hit V, and we'll be switching this from the default handle type to automatic. I just find this more easily to manipulate. So now we can just place this on the surface of the geometry and it's gonna stick. So right now it's sticking, but we're kind of not, we've lost some part of the curve. So to preview it, we can go to the viewport um, display and click on in front. So this enables us to see it. So the basic rules that you should follow is, for example, right here we have three hair systems. So the first hair system is the banks. If I can bring out my annotation too. So the first hair system is the banks. The second hair system is this left side hair, and this, and probably the back hair too. So these are the hair system which we will create. Okay, so the basic rule is with any curve you're creating and in any system, all the curves should have same amount of points. So like for the bank system, they should have same amount of points, and the point can vary from the left side here. So that's the basic principle. So if once you understand that, you will not run into any future problem. The reason I'm doing that is not because of any particular issue. It's just it's going to help speed up our UV process later. So I've done lots of talking without really doing much. So let's do more action. So now we can just control click and it's going to create a new point, and we can just extrude this. Okay, so now I'm going to just control click 1 2 3 4 5, and it's going to place it right on top of the geometry because we have our snapping turned on. Okay, so now we have created the front bands. As you can see, they are not much. We have one that is astray, so we can probably create one more here to 3, 4, 4, 5. So we can define that area very well. Okay, so this is what we have now, and we can proceed to the next step. So for the next step, we can turn off the snapping tool, and we go to the curve and do, sorry, we go to select and do select, if I can find it. Okay, select first. Okay, so this is the tip. So we want to switch this. We want this first to be the root, so we can switch that by going to if I can find it, I can just switch it here. So switch direction. I think you can access it by hitting the context menu W key. Okay, so if we do select first, it's going to be selecting the root, and now we can just extrude this downwards and just scale it in so it's plugged into the hair, and we can just turn off the in front and hide this. So right now this is what we have to convert to hair. So now for the next step, we need to go to the curve settings and do extrude. So if you notice where most of the particles, most of the curves are disappearing, I don't know why. I ran into that error and I could not figure out the reason for that. So the solution I came up with is to convert this to edges and convert it back to curve, then it will work. But before we do that, we need to go to the resolution and reduce it, because right now it's quite high. So we'll say something like 2, and then we can convert it. If you go to object, convert curve, mesh from curve. So now we have a bunch of edges, and now we can convert it from curve from mesh. So now this is what we have. Okay, now we can extrude this, and you can see we're extruding every single one. Okay, now we have extruded, and we're going to the edit mode and do Ctrl T to tilt, and we'll just tilt it. But now we are tilted. As we are tilting it, we can see we're not really tilting it. It's not really working for all of them. So this is where the tedious process come in a bit. You have to, like, with the reference, and I'll just switch this to random. So if I change the name, we can get another color. So with this, we can just eyeball it so it matches the underlying reference in the when it's laying down. Okay, so this is it now, and you can just go in and tweak it till you feel it's relaxing well. And note, you can also select any point, and if you turn on proportional edit and click on connected only, you can hold down Alt S and you can taper it down. But for this we don't really need to do that. So, or if you select any, if you select an island and do Alt S, you can just scale it out if you need to do that. Okay, so if you spend more time with it, you will even get it to look better, but right now it's looking good, as you can see. And let's say we are happy with this, so we can duplicate this and just call this banks main, and we can just hide this. So now we can convert this to a mesh. So you can do this by going to Object, Convert Mesh from Curve, and it's going to make this a mesh. Okay. If we bring out our UV editor, because now the next step is to create materials on UV, which is the fun part. So we're going to the, so you notice I'm isolating everything by hitting the slash key. So in the edit mode, I'm going to hit P and I'm going to do by loose part, and it's going to separate everything. And now I'm just going to select one and do unwrap. So there's this free add-on called UV squares, and it allows you to do stuff like this. You can convert any rectangular shape that is not really squared into a more neat shape like this. Okay, so this is what we want. And now we're going to just import the texture. So stay tuned, I'm going to show you guys how to actually create haircut texture with Blender hair system. So we'll just add this color. So you can see very detailed texture we created with Blender hair. So I'm going to just scale this. So we can add a material, just change this to single. Material. So we'll add a material and call this haircut. So for the color, we'll select the color, and now we can just click on texture so we can preview it. So let's see which one, if it's facing the right way. So we need to flip this, so we'll do rotate Z 180. So it's facing the right way now. Okay, so I'll move this downwards. Okay, so you can see how it's looking. So now we want to transfer this UV data to all the hair system. I messed this up. Okay, just select this. Okay, so to do that, because we have same amount of vertices and edges, so we can easily select, we can transfer the UV data easily. So if we do Control I to invert the selection, and then we select this one and we hit the F3 for the search, we will search for transfer. UV map. Okay, so once you do that, it's going to transfer the UV map, and then we can hit Control L and materials. So as you can see, it's going to transfer both the UV map and the materials. So now we can just play with it. So before we move on, let's check something first. Let's see the face orientation. So some are not really facing the right way, so let's just join this, and inside we'll hit Shift N, and it's going to recalculate everything. Okay, and now we can see what we have. So let's create the shader. So for the material, selecting this, we want to go to the down and select viewport. We'll set this to alpha hashed. Okay, so this texture, I will try to provide it if it's possible. It has an alpha channel, so let's turn off the specularity. So if I add my converter ramp, we can really play with stuff here. So if we play with the value, we can make the alpha even more pronounced. So why is it not displaying it? Oh, sorry. So you want to make sure the blend mode is set to alpha hashed. So as you can see, we have the hair now. So you can play with the alpha to see how much visible it is. Can probably move this to get that nice styling which we want. Probably move some couple. Okay, so this is it. So I create the texture. The next is to show you how I created this texture. It's actually a fun method. Let me just show off what the kind of map we could get with this. So we could add a mix. We have like a root controller, color control. So if we do mix, we need this. So okay, so as you can see, we have like much control over this just from the textures. I'm just playing around. Yeah, so you can. I also generated more maps from the method I will show you now. So we have like randomness color, clump color. So you can create custom effect with this. So if we do convert, separate RGB. So for each color, you have different. For each value, each color value, you have different color information. So you could really play and have full control over this. Anyway, so let me show you guys how I created that. So also in Blender, so I'm going to open the file. So this is it. So we can actually create one quickly. So we'll just delete the particle, create a new particle system here. Well, we'll reduce this to like 100. And set the length to 4, something appropriate. By the way, I have it set to strip, that's why by default it should be like strand, but I have it set to strip. So now I'm going to add interpolated hair and go to the clump, increase the clump like crazy, and then I'll go to uniform and just play with it. Then for the viewport strength, I'm just going to increase it to 8, render 8, and yeah, so that's basically what's happening here. Probably play with the clump like this. So that's how I got the hair, and if you play with the size, you can get even more different hairstyle from this, even without grooming. And if you really need to have custom, you can then add the kinks like coil and everything. Yeah, so so that's it. So for the materials, for the rendering, I'm using Eevee to render the hair because it's much faster and I have much control. So hair set to strip, and that's everything. For the sample, I'm setting it to 200, and for the final render, I'm gonna set it to 40. So if I'm to preview it now, I'm just using a basic principle shader with a dark color, so you can customize this to any color that is so pleased. And then we render out different passes. So we're using the hair info node. You have different passes which you can use to control the hair. So the random pass has this random color which is quite faint. Then I plug that into a color ramp and just set it to RGB, so then I can use the separate RGB to get those color information. So that same trick for this is how I generated the clump. I just added the texture coordinate and I just saw this cool effect, and then I converted it to RGB, so I have like clumps of hair. So I can control clumps to create a different effect. And then we have the intercept. This is to control, we can use this to control the root color, so you can generate root color from this. And I also use this to create a specular map. So with the curve, so you can control the style of, if you're trying to go for this kind of cool shiny style, shiny hair, so this is what you want to go for. Yeah, so that's it. I hope this tutorial was helpful. If you have any question, you can leave it in the comment. I know I did not do the whole hair, but if you want me to do the hair, you just request it. Do it to be longer, because I want to try to make it very short for you guys to understand quickly. So thank you guys for watching. I hope this was helpful. If you wish to see more from me, hit that subscribe button so you get notified, and hit the bell button so you get notified. And of course, engage in the comment chats, ask questions. I'm always online and I try to reply as fast as possible and help you out if you're encountering any problems. So yeah, so bye bye for now. See you next time.